Man, I don't know why I'm so nervous for this episode. Oh, do you feel it?
I mean, I feel it right over my shoulder.
What is it? Who's that?
It's my dead husband. It's making me nervous.
Yeah, quite a
He
bit.
does that, yeah.
Yeah. Whew. Okay. Welcome to the next episode of Nice Girls Gone Woo. Are you ready to talk to your lost loved ones? Let's go. So before we start this video, I know this is a very sensitive subject, especially with whatever is going on right now with 2020, COVID. There's a lot of people who are experiencing grief of lost loved ones, right? A lot of people have moved on. So there's two things that I invite you to take on before we start this video. One, that there's no such thing as coincidences. Yes, there's no such thing. And while you're here, consider that there's something pulling you here, that there's a message for you. You called this video in a way. So as long as you start with that, then you'll be able to listen a little bit more. Second, I invite you to take on the possibility that, hey, there could be life after death. There could be spirits, energy that we have not been taught, not been known about, humanity hasn't really discovered. Right? That there could be something there beyond our knowledge currently. And as long as you be in that realm of, hey, there's a possibility that there could be something out there, then you'll be able to hear what we're trying to share with you in this video. Otherwise, if you come in here with, oh, there's no such thing as ghosts, you can't talk to spirits, like these people are frauds, like if you come in like that, then it doesn't matter what we're trying to share with you because it's blocked off. You won't be able to hear what we're trying to say. So if you're one of those people who are closed-minded, then don't even bother watching the rest of the video because you won't be able to hear us. Other than that, I hope this video is beneficial, would provide some relief for those who are experiencing grief. All I know is I'm guided to share this video, kind of help uncollapse what I've known about the spiritual realm versus what people are experiencing in the 3D realm. And it's all from our personal experience. So as we learn and uncover together, I'm just going to share through these next series of video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this message. I invite you to take this video on with an open mind. And maybe death is not so bad after all. All right, let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to Nice Girls Gone Woo. We have Maggie here.
Hello.
And so today we're going to talk about talking to deceased loved ones and how actually that's actually pretty normal.
Yeah, it totally is. I didn't used to think it was, but it is.
Yeah. So Maggie is here to share her experience with the lost loved one. And then you kind of decide for yourself if it's true or not. Other than that, let's get started. No. Maggie, introduce yourself.
Mark's ready.
Mark's ready.
That's my husband, Mark. So my husband, I'm Maggie. My husband, Mark, died in 2016. He died by suicide. And I was so not into anything woo. I thought I was crazy when I felt like he was around. But now it's actually super normal for me. And it's interesting to me that you're the one who's nervous and I'm not.
Yes, I'm so nervous. For like, do I be sensitive about it, right? Because a lot of people are moving on, passing on with this whole COVID thing. Mm-hmm. So speaking for someone with experience, your voice will resonate more with those who are listening in.
Oh God, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just a feeling. It's like I know when he's around.
Well, does he leave you any messages when he's around?
Not like he used to. I used to have a lot more friends who were definitely super woo, and I thought, they had all these powers that I didn't understand. I had friends that would leave me messages. I could be standing next to someone, and for them to convince me that like we'd be having a conversation about Mark being around, and I'd be like, well, it kind of bothers me, and I feel like I'm crazy. And I had a friend once tell me, she was like, well, he's around right now. And I was like, yeah. And she said 4 words. She said, barefoot, Philippines, fish, grandma. And I was like, well, how did you know to say that? And she was like, what the heck does that mean? I don't know what that means, but that's what Mark said. And it was a story he told me when he was alive, obviously. And I knew exactly what it was. And she said, I don't know what that means, but he wants you to know he's really here. And I was like, fine. Because why would someone say barefoot, Philippines, grandma, fish? To, and to you, that won't mean anything to you, but to me, I knew exactly what it was about. So it used to be more like that when I was very resistant to it. And I definitely took guidance from people who are more woo than I was. I don't have another word for it. Woo is the best word for it. Spiritual.
Median, right? Because all it is, woo, like, so my background, like corporate, right? Financial advising, it's very 3D, very structured, like very physical. But as we go through our own awakening, what I'm learning about cutting these cords, energy work, I become so sensitive to my body. Like it opens up. I feel energy. I get goosebumps when there's someone around, which is right now.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting, right? Because when we open our body up, we can feel these energies and like we can actually communicate with them.
Mm-hmm.
And now just talking about death, I don't view death the same way anymore.
Yeah, neither do I.
So like I do want to ask you, like, so for people who are experiencing grief right now, what was your process and how you got over it?
I think one thing for me was to stop resisting that. I sort of came to the point where I was like, whether Mark is really around me or not on some energetic or spiritual level, I said, whether or not that's true, I'm going to talk to him. And it wasn't about getting messages from him. I don't have conversations with Mark where he answers me. I don't have that. It's more of a feeling that I get when he's around. But I stopped resisting it and I said, well, he's not here anyway, and I have things I want to say, so I may as well just say them. And it just felt better to me to be able to say that I missed him, to express different things I was feeling. So whether you believe it or not, it kind of does just feel good to talk to the person, even if they're no longer there. And I think that's something for a lot of people is they miss the person that died, they miss them, and you want to talk to them. And whether or not they're really there, you may as well talk. So, but do consider that maybe they are, and they're on some other level, energetically, they are still around, and, they're probably listening. And even if it just makes you feel better, do it anyways, because it makes you feel better.
Yeah, and on this end, right, so I'm going to help like uncollapse what I've learned on the spiritual side. Because now as my body starts to open up and I take on an energy, especially with crystals, right? When I wear this lapis, when I connect with it, my body would take on this royal form. And different rings would have different energy. So that was with crystals, right? So now when I'm talking to ascended masters, like different and like higher beings, when I invite them to connect with me, they take over in a way, like I can feel them act the way, certain different movements, right? So if that's what I'm feeling is true, then now we're talking about past loved ones. Mm-hmm. You can definitely invite them to connect with you, right? And then do it consciously in a more awareness, right? With energy work, protecting yourself, your shield, and then inviting them into your space. So this is kind of like median work, where the clearer you are as a channel, the more you can channel through. Right? So even like fasting, today's my first day of fasting. I just notice when I'm doing yoga, when I'm doing meditation, it's like information going through. I feel the energy so much more. Mm-hmm. So for my understanding, when you do more of the body work, you can actually feel this person or take them on and have them actually be there as an energy.
Yeah, and I actually had someone I met with early on, well, maybe a little bit over a year after Mark died, and for the intention of having this type of conversation, I had resisted it for a while, but I finally said I'm ready to talk about it. And very similarly to you, she wasn't nervous, but like Mark was telling her jokes. So when I showed up, she had all these jokes to tell me that she was like, I don't know why he said this, but he said that I should feed you cheese. And I was like, it's a terrible idea. I'm lactose intolerant, but Mark would find that funny. She said he kept laughing about it. And I was like, so literally I show up at this person's house and she was like, your dead husband told me to feed you cheese and give you snacks. But to me, it made total sense because it's something Mark would have done. Mm-hmm. But when I met with her, what I was going to say is she told me, she said, you're very resistant to him and he does try to talk to you, but I have a shield up. And I was like, yeah, that's because I think I'm crazy and I don't want to talk to a dead person. I think that's weird. And she was like, well, okay, that's understandable. But once we started talking about it and she said all these things that only he knew that she would never know, I was like, well, that was when I thought more of whether he's listening or not, maybe I'll feel better if I open up to it. And it did eventually get to a point, I can now kind of remember how it's gone the last few years. I would say sometimes, okay. So Rinny, who was on a previous episode, I'm friends with Rinny also.
Yes, the first one.
Yes. So she and I were at an event once. There was maybe 10 or 12 of us girls at a full moon circle, I think is what we were at. Uh-huh. And I don't know if she told you this story. Uh-huh. We were all sitting down and I was sharing. I don't remember what I was sharing about. And she had been very distracted and I could tell because it's kind of a quiet room. And she's like breathing heavy. And I was like, uh-oh. And I had my attention on her. And then I'm sharing and all of a sudden she's crying. And in my head, I was like, leave her alone. And she grabs a piece of paper and she's crying and she starts writing this note. And everyone in the room is aware that like this is going on, right? And so then I finished sharing. And then there was a quiet moment and everyone was like, you okay? And I looked at her and I was like, yeah, that's from Mark, isn't it? And the woman running it was like, Mark? And Rinny got up and handed me the note and I was like, that's my dead husband. And she was like, I didn't know it was Mark for a while. I just kept having this feeling. And so there were times later when Rinny would come over here. This is the house I've lived in the last few years. And I knew she was really, tapping into her own, I don't know, whatever you call them, but, really working through different energetic things and getting very woo.
Oh,
and
she really I'm talking about like feeling.
Oh, full body experience.
Full body, like energy.
She was like in tears.
Yeah.
So, oh my God. So she would come over and I'd be like, okay. I'd go in my room before people would come over and I'd be like, okay, Rinny's coming over. So you just gotta leave her alone. And I was like, you can hang out. I promise I'm okay. Nothing's wrong. And then I would have other times where, because a lot of our friends are very woo and they'd all be over and I'd be like, just don't bother people while they're here. I promise I'm fine. I want you to know I'm having a good time. And it's like the times that I would have a little conversation with Mark before then, nothing would happen. The times, or they would tell me. The only thing that would happen, sometimes someone would turn to me and be like, oh, he's really happy right now. And I would know exactly who they were talking about. And I felt like a crazy lady. And I still feel like a little bit of a crazy person for saying this. It really is. Like, it's, for me, often what I'm saying to him is like, I'm good, I'm happy. Can you see that I'm happy? I want him to know that I'm okay. Because so many of the messages I was getting from people was that he was worried about me. Mm-hmm. And he felt very guilty about what he'd done. And, and I just wanted him to be at peace. So I do think on some level there was that back and forth where I would say, it's okay and I forgive you and I want you to be around for happy things and, or play a joke and make you nervous. So it's like I started to welcome it mm-hmm. and embrace it. And
he's coming to you now. Okay, so unfinished business.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a lot of deceased loved ones have unfinished business that they, right, forgiveness.
Yeah.
Is one of that. Maybe there's some chords that hasn't been completed. Mm-hmm. So share about that and how you felt going through it. Right? Did you share about how he passed?
Briefly, but yeah, he died by suicide, and so I think he had a lot of guilt there. There were different things that people would tell me early on. One of them told me that she was nervous to come talk to me for a while because she thought I'd be very resistant to it. But she said that the day after he died, he showed up and was like, what did I do? And he was also raised Catholic. And so I think there was a lot of guilt there. I was raised Catholic. So a lot of Catholic guilt. But it was more, it came up very recently with my friend Connie. We were chatting, and I was so frustrated. Something came up about Mark, and I was like, it's like he can't see that I'm happy, and is he not paying attention to when I'm happy? Because I would still be getting messages from people, and sometimes I ask, because sometimes I'll reach out to friends and I'll say, hey, you got anything? I don't ask that often anymore because I can usually, I don't know, I just feel more connected to him. But I was feeling really out of sorts about something, and it just felt like it wasn't mine. Like, it was like, this is not my stress. I don't know what this is. And I knew it was connected to Mark, and I was talking to my friend Connie, and I was like, it's like he doesn't listen. And I was like, wow, I'm still fighting with my husband about not listening. But it was like, it's as if he couldn't see that I was happy. And then she tells me all this stuff about, because she's also very woo. And she, actually everything I was texting her, it was like we were texting the same things at the same time. And I'd be like, it's like he feels this. And then I would send it and her text would come through. She'd be like, oh, well, he feels guilty about that. And then I would be like, it's like he's so caught up in feeling bad about it that he's not even paying attention to when I'm like, he's missed all the good stuff I've had that I've experienced this year. And I'd sent it, and then I'd look down and her text would come in and she'd be like, he wants to be there for the good things, but he's feeling so guilty. Like, it was just really bizarre. But I really did get, like, it felt different. I was like, I know I'm not mad at him anymore. But I could tell, like, he wasn't picking up on when I was saying, when I would, like, say, oh, I don't know, sometimes I just talk. I'll even be in the car and I'll just talk to him.
Okay, so on that part, how you can help release those cords
Yes.
is by using this technique, right? Because there's still, like, when a person is passed, we still have energetic cords that may be attached that's unfinished. So one method I typically use is Ho'oponopono, or how I'll put the writing on there, right? But it's a Hawaiian clearing technique. And all you really do is imagine that person, and just feel whatever feeling that's coming up, right? It could be guilt, shame, whatever it is that's coming up for you about this person. Just close your eyes and repeat these 4 phrases. So the first one is, let's see. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And you keep repeating those 4 with all this energy that's coming up, right? You're summoning this energy, this guilt, right, that's coming up. Because if you're feeling it, then it's there in your field. So just summon all that energy up with that person in your imagination. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Keep repeating it until you feel a release.
Yeah.
Right? The more you do that, the more you feel the release on whatever the cord is still attached to. So it's very healing and it's very forgiving. So by you saying, I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry is just saying that you are apologize, like you take responsibility for what happened, even you're 100% responsible, right? So that kind of puts you at this neutral state. So that's where we want to get, like, to this neutral state. Like, I'm sorry, just accept the responsibility. And then please forgive me. Forgiveness is the detachment. Just slowly forgiving that cord. Like, I feel my body, like, expand when I do forgiveness. Because when you start cutting these cords, your body will be more open. Yeah. Right? Because there are not a lot of people, their heart is very closed.
That's me.
Yeah, but the more you start cutting these cords, the more like you feel it through your entire being. And the third one is thank you. Thank you. Gratitude is probably one of the most powerful energy. When you are in a state of gratitude, like Thanksgiving, if you're conscious and you're not like all up on family stuff, right? If you're conscious and you're expressing gratitude all day, imagine how many people are expressing gratitude all day. That day was a really good flow of energy if you're looking to manifest, because everyone's in gratitude, expansion, right? And then I love you is just pulling all the love back.
Yeah.
So just say all that until you feel a release. And not only that's healing for you, but it also helps heal the other person that you feel like is incomplete.
Yeah.
Because they're still around with all this. And so, yeah, try that. And then maybe your next conversation with Mark will be a little bit different, right? Because all these energies are going to keep coming up for you to like deal with it,
Yeah.
right? It's like deep wounds that we really got to start healing. And then when you start healing, your body will open up even more.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to do some of that work with some things that I think Mark's not resolved about, because there have been multiple occasions where I've had, because I have my own history of depression and anxiety, and I have PTSD, the PTSD is all is connected to his suicide. But there were so many times where, like, I could distinguish between when it was my depression and anxiety and when it was like something else around me or someone else around me. And there were times where I didn't know how to explain it, but I'd be like, oh, that's not my stress, that's Mark.
Well, there are also entities too.
And that too.
Yes,
Well,
there's there's other beings.
Mandy followed me around a few weeks ago. She kept saying, "Who's Mandy?"
Yes. Oh my God. It's like
So
every
I
time
know
I think of her
Mandy
name, Mandy jumps on. It's like, who is Mandy?
We got rid of her.
Yeah. So you just gotta be conscious. Like, you can pick up other energies when you're open. And one more thing before I forget. Like, this probably Mark wants to tell you too.
Oh.
If you have a little altar for him, you can actually like be a more clear channel to talk to him.
He wants you to tell me that.
That's what
I
you
know
do.
why. I know. I'll do it. That is a very Mark message.
Yeah.
It's because I have said out loud on many occasions, I can't believe you just said that. I've said, I am never building a Mark shrine.
Wow, okay, yeah.
I have some choice words for him. I can't believe you just said that. It's like this stupid shirt. This is a blanket my sister, this is all folded up. It's a blanket my sister made me, and his family got these shirts made, and I'm sure it meant something nice to them, but I was like, I'm never wearing a shirt with Mark's face on it. So my sister put it in the blanket. And that's one of the things I said. I said, I'm never wearing that shirt. I'm not going to build him a shrine.
But you can use that shirt for the shrine.
Yeah, well, he would love that. I can't believe this.
Wow. Yeah, so this is an interesting episode.
He's laughing.
Yeah, so I think that was a message to help people be at ease with their past loved ones.
And have a good laugh about it.
Yeah, because when you talk about it, you're purging.
Yeah.
You're releasing a lot of this energy and the resistance and what is called resentment, shame, guilt. All this energy is really, really heavy.
Yes.
Really, really dense. So when you start cutting these cords, you realize like you feel energy so much more.
Mm-hmm. It's a good energy.
It's a good energy.
Yeah, it's way better than... I can't believe he told you to tell me to build him a shrine. He didn't use those words, but that's what he said. And this laughing feels a lot better than being mad at him, even though I'm a little mad at him for saying that.
Yeah. So, Mark, you got anything else to say?
No,
All right.
He's fine.
All right, so this is a wrap for today's episode of Nice Girls Gone Woo. I hope it was beneficial for those experiencing lost loved ones. And then thank you, Maggie, for being here.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
And Mark. Yeah, so that's all we have for you guys today. Timmy Doe and
Maggie McGonigle.
signing off.